everyone, welcome to my second practice vlog. This week I'll be continuing working on Rager's third viola suite. If you missed my first practice vlog, I began the piece that week and at the very end I had my first lesson on it. So if you missed that one, I will link it right above so you can catch up and then come back to this one. But my teacher gave me lots of fingerings for those sixths and I have to practice moving in between each one. So I think this next week is going to be a lot of work on that, and we'll see what we encounter. I don't know what the week holds. This video corresponds with the blog post, which I will link down below, so you can read along and follow as you watch this video, or you can pin it for later and then read like what exercises I might create for myself this week later on when you need it. So be sure to check out my blog, and if you're new here, please subscribe. I would love for you to watch all of my videos. Good thing I was done. So this is about the middle of the second week. I haven't worked on this much, especially over the weekend. I really didn't. I have another lesson tomorrow, so it's already been a week since the end of my first practice vlog. I'm struggling with my teacher's fingerings that she gave me, just getting used to them and understanding how they work. So I need to do a lot of that today in preparation for my lesson tomorrow. I need to work out the bowings on this last line. I think my first thing should be doing it all separate bows so that I can get used to this new fingering on the last line. And then once I'm used to the fingering, then I can work on the bowings. The fingerings need to come before the bowings, at least in this case. New practice cam set up because my phone, like the mount on my tripod, is from Five Below, and I guess my advice would be not to get yours from Five Below because my phone doesn't stay in it anymore and it's really, really frustrating. Back to practicing. Now I think my problem is I'm kind of stopping and starting in between each double stop, and I need to just make it smoother in between each one. So I don't really know what I'm going to do yet, but I'm just going to try a bunch of things and see if I can fix that. I just played through it smoothly with separate bows, and I tried to just keep going through it no matter what happened. I'm gonna try that again. Okay, so I meant to do the smooth, the separate bows like I just did, and my mind went off and I slurred things, but not the way it's slurred in the music, and not the way that my teacher wants me to slur it. I don't know what my brain did. I'm gonna try to do the smooth, separate bow thing again. So I stopped a few times that time. Gonna try to avoid that next time. I'm getting a little confused by the bowings that I wrote in my part, so I think I'm gonna try to put it back together with the bowings and just think about keeping everything really smooth and to keep things moving, not to stop, even if something is out of tune, just move through it. So I messed up a few of the bowings, but I tried to just keep going like if it was a performance or something. I'm just gonna keep working on trying to do the bowings that my teacher wants me to do, just to get it right. I don't know. So I did the right bowings that time, so I'm on the right track. And that time I did the bowings that are written in the edition. I don't know why, but my brain did it. That time, I slowed down to try to tune the thirds. I'm conflicted as to whether I want to tune the thirds or work on the bowings. I think I'm going to go back to tuning for now. So I think that time I did the bowings that I have written in. So that was pretty successful. Gonna just keep doing this spot over and over again for a little bit. Okay, so I haven't practiced that section that I was just working on too much more. It's just been like a minute since you last saw me. But my hand is starting to just get a little sore from doing this one spot, so I'm just going to move on. It's always a good idea if you're feeling sore or any kind of discomfort to just either take a break or move on to a different section, just to give your muscles a break. You don't want to hurt yourself. Hurting yourself and getting an injury is like the last thing you want to do. End of my injury talk for now. So I think I'm just gonna move on and see what I encounter. I actually have to decide on a fingering for this measure. Wait, hold on. Okay, so I've been playing this F sharp, like an F double sharp, and the double sharp sounds a lot better. I need to listen to a recording and see what the experts do. I swear it was a double sharp. I don't know. So I just listened to 2 recordings of this movement, and both of them played an F double sharp in this measure. So tonight I'm going to practice it with the double sharp, and tomorrow in my lesson I'll ask my teacher about it, see what she thinks. It definitely sounds better as a double sharp. So I don't know much about Reger and like his manuscripts or anything, or like his composing process. I didn't learn much about him in music history. I don't know why, because I don't know him. Like I don't know what he did, so I don't know why I haven't learned about him. Does that make sense? Like, you know why you learn about composers because they did something big, but what did Reger do? I don't really know. I should look that up since I'm playing one of his pieces. So I'm just gonna keep working on this same section again. I'm not even in the frame, I'm sorry. There we go. Now you're all set up. Now you can see me practicing. Okay. This hurts my hand. That's not fun. I think a big challenge in this measure will be making it smooth between the E and the G and the G and the B, just because of the fingering that I'm trying to do. It's almost impossible to do this without a string crossing, and I'm doing it without a string crossing, and it's almost impossible to do it without a string crossing without making it sound all like clunky and kind of detached. So I think that's going to be a big challenge, especially like throughout this whole movement, but really in this measure. So about 2 minutes ago, I thought a problem in this measure was going to be going from the third finger on the E on the G string to a third finger on the B on the D string. And then I realized that they're barely a fifth away. So it won't be too hard to just move my finger over. I thought I was going to have to like go all over the place, but it's just around the corner basically. So look at how my hand is right now. It's not very good. I have like a huge whole step between my third and fourth fingers. I'm not sure how I feel about that. Just observe that. I don't know. I'm still really in the beginning stages of this, and it takes me a while to decide on fingerings that I really like. And when I start learning a piece, I really like to do like the easiest fingering possible. But then I have the bad habit of never changing that fingering, so I always do the easiest fingering possible unless my teacher changes it or notices that that's what I'm doing and makes me change it. So that's kind of a goal of mine in general as I'm finishing my last year of school, to motivate myself to change my fingerings. So I mean, I think it's perfectly fine to do an easy fingering when you're first learning something, just so that you can get it in your head and know what it sounds like, and then later on you can change the fingering to be more expressive, or just, you know, however you want it to sound. If you want like the timbre of the G string over the D string, then do a fingering on the G string. But maybe like it's easier to do something lower than higher, but it might sound better to do something higher than lower later on. So like I think it's fine to start out with an easier fingering when you're learning something, but if you want it to be more expressive, it's good to change the fingering. I need to get better about that myself, and just motivating myself to do it on my own without being prompted by a teacher to do it. Here I go again. That's tough. Not fun stuff. Not at all. So my tendency for the two double stops in question is to move my hand up for the higher one, just because, you know, it's like instinctual, because it's a higher double stop. I want to just move my hand higher, but it needs to stay, my hand itself needs to stay in place. My pinky finger just needs to move, and that's the only one that really does have to move. Like my whole hand shape is kind of moving, but the third finger is an anchor. The third finger is staying where it is, and the fourth finger is moving. So my hand is kind of pivoting a little bit, but it's not moving like I keep expecting it to have to do. So that time, it wasn't perfect. It wasn't in tune, but I stopped the instinct of trying to move my whole hand up, which is the first step. So you want to focus on the smallest step first. Just getting the smallest step that you can, and then upping the steps. So it's just like you're walking up a set of stairs. You go for the first stair first. You don't go for the fifth stair when you're trying to get up the stairs at first. You just go one by one by one. So that's all practicing is too, just going up step by step, not really skipping any step unless like it's super easy. But this is not super easy music, so I've got to go step by little step. I count that as successful. Not pretty, but successful. Oh, that hurt. Okay. So my next problem with this area, I have a lot of problems with this area, and I'm gonna need to talk to Max Rager about it immediately. I need to talk to him. Okay, so my next problem with this spot is the bowing. So the two double stops in question are slurred, but the way I'm doing the fingering is I have to lift up my fingers, so I'm hearing the G string, but I will be doing kind of a harmonic on the G string. So I might be able to kind of hide that G string sound with just the harmonic if I move my fourth finger over really fast. But I do need to move my fourth finger over really fast to be able to pull that off. See, that wasn't fast enough. I heard the G string. That was a little better. Alright, 10 minutes later, Elizabeth here. You know that problem area? I've been playing a G natural and an F sharp, I think. Let's try it. That's what it is on the top. I was playing G natural, F sharp. That's what it is. I guess I'll still ask in my lesson tomorrow if there's some unspoken rule that, you know, is not in the music. But otherwise, I guess I'll relearn what's in the part. Let's try this. It's supposed to be. It sounds better. It rings more. I don't know. Maybe I'm just trying to convince myself that it's the right thing now, because this is like the third different way I've played this now. Learning pieces is hard, like just starting from scratch. It's so hard. I don't know, like we don't talk about that enough. It's just difficult. I don't know. Okay, so I read the rest of the way through the piece. The ending is basically like the beginning, so there wasn't really anything to record there. So the next clip you'll see is from a different day, probably after my lesson. So I'm just going through my warm-up. I always do some scales every day as a warm-up. Right now I'm just doing C major. It's a nice easy warm-up. So I always go through the scale, then through the arpeggios, then I do chromatic scale, then octaves, thirds, and sixths. So I'm going to show you the sixth today. I think I did in the last video as well, but this time I'm really focusing on the transitions in between each one. And first I'm going to play them single bows, so one double stop per bow, and then I'm going to slur 2 sixths per bow. So I find that slurring at least 2 double stops per bow really sets me up for success when I'm actually doing a piece, because I found that a lot of sections with sixths in them are smooth, slurred sections, so I really have to practice the transitions between each double stop and get them really smooth while I'm slurring, because it's harder to disguise the shifting under the slurs. So practicing that in my warm-up will really help when it comes time to practice the piece.